The drop pod cracked through Ravalax 9's atmosphere like a thrown spear. Fire curled around its hull, burning away the silence of space. Inside, Logan Thorne sat cross-legged, fingers relaxed on his knees, eyes half-lidded. He wasn't meditating. He was waiting. Through the tiny viewport, the landscape below came into view, endless dark green canopy, jagged cliffs, rivers glowing faintly with bioluminescent algae, and skies like bruised glass. A death world for most species. For him, it looked familiar. The pod slammed into the soil with a bone-jarring thud. System locks hissed open. The hatch blasted free. Logan stepped out into the thick air of Ravalax, every breath heavy with moisture and strange pollen. He dropped to one knee, dug his fingers into the soil, and smiled faintly. Loamy. Water nearby. Fruit-bearing vines to the south. Probably venomous. Still useful. He stood and scanned the treeline. No drones. No sensors. No weapons. Just raw nature, and the interstellar survival games watching from orbit. The rules were simple. No technology. No synthetic materials. No comms. Just you, your body, and the wilderness. First one to reach extraction after surviving 7 days, or the last one standing, wins. It wasn't war. It was something older. Elsewhere on the planet, other pods dropped like meteors. Alien contestants spilled out, dazed and unprepared. Some had already cut themselves on thorns. One, a feathered Yixari, stared helplessly at a puddle as if expecting it to purify itself. Up above, galactic commentators buzzed with excitement. We're live on day 1 of the Ravalax trials, folks. 30 contestants. 11 species. 1 brutal jungle. And yes, it's true. Earth sent a human. Bold move. They're pre-industrial by galactic standards. Pre-industrial, or prehistoric? We'll see how long he lasts before the first heatwave. By the time the sun began its downward arc, Logan had already located a shaded alcove surrounded by natural rock formations. Gathered dry bark, fibrous root strands, and flint-like stones. Dug a shallow pit for smoke control. Built a rudimentary tripod to hang food, when he caught it. He crouched over the bark pile and began spinning a notched stick between his palms. His breathing slowed, rhythm consistent. Smoke curled upward. The embers caught. He leaned down and exhaled, just once. Flames licked the edges of the kindling. Fire. Not simulated. Not from batteries. Not synthesized plasma. Real. Up on the orbital relay station, silence fell across the control deck. A Dreckery technician stared. Did he just ignite wood? Replay that, a commentator whispered. Galactic feeds cut to slow motion, the human calmly feeding a fire in the middle of the jungle, as if it were second nature. Because to him, it was. Meanwhile, Arbex Vielun climbed out of his pod a kilometer away, brushing moss from his pristine suit. Dreckery's skin was pale and slightly luminescent, evolved under artificial domes, never bred for fieldwork. He tapped the side of his temple. Nothing responded. No HUD. No interface. No uplink. He was alone. Unacceptable. He surveyed his surroundings, nose wrinkled. The air smelled organic, rich and alive in a way he found distasteful. His instincts screamed to organize, to delegate, to command a network. But this contest offered no systems to rule. Only chaos. Logan speared a small rodent-like creature with a sharpened branch and roasted it slowly, keeping the juices dripping into a hollowed stone bowl beneath. Fat meant calories. Fat meant survival. A buzzing insect hovered near his ear. He didn't flinch, just turned his head and blew. It spiraled away. Nearby, he had hung stripped vine fibers to dry. They would make strong cordage by morning. The bark layers he'd peeled could be woven into foot wraps. He'd already sketched a bow drill with charcoal on the stone wall beside him. By the time most aliens were still building wind shelters, Logan had tools, fire, food, and protection. Not magic. Just memory. Back at the galactic hub, Betting markets shifted dramatically. We're seeing an unprecedented spike in favor of the Terran representative. He's already built shelter and cooked meat? Without breaking the tech ban? He's using sticks, Darrow. This might be the first primitive supremacy upset we've seen in the trials. Night fell over Ravalax 9, fast and heavy. Many contestants huddled under trees, drenched, confused, and afraid of the distant howls echoing through the jungle. Their advanced biology had never learned to be cold. Not really. Not without jackets coated to body heat. One by one, their eyes turned toward distant flickers of orange, barely visible over the ridgeline. A fire. Someone had fire. Somewhere, someone was thriving. Back at his camp, Logan sat quietly, legs crossed again. The flames crackled beside him, the half-eaten meat skewered to a charred branch. He watched the shadows move across the leaves. Not paranoid. Just prepared. Behind a nearby ridge, hidden among twisted roots, Arbex crouched with narrowed eyes. He could see the fire. And he hated it. "Fool," he muttered. "They'll come for your warmth. And your bones." He didn't understand why the fire had moved toward the human. Not yet. By dawn, the jungle was louder. Not with sound, but with movement, creatures whispering through undergrowth, tree limbs shifting as if watching. Logan had already dismantled his shelter, stashed embers in a bark bundle, and cleaned the cooked bones of last night's kill. He moved with economy. No wasted motion. Every task had a reason. Survive. Advance. Observe. As the sun bled orange across the sky, Logan crouched by the fire pit. Something was wrong. The soil was disturbed. Not by paws or claws, by fingers. A deliberate scoop beneath the ash. He brushed away the soot. Metal. A sliver of Dreckery alloy. Logan held it between his thumb and forefinger. Paper-thin, tech-infused. Illegal. Banned under survival trial regulations. There was no way this had survived entry. It was a setup. He stared at the trees. No one was visible. But someone had been here. He tossed the shard into the pit and buried it again. No alarm. No report. He adjusted the line on his face wrap, hoisted his crude spear, and vanished into the brush. Half a click east, Arbex Vielun waited with folded arms and a satisfied smirk. One of his subordinates, a long-necked Ketheri with poor balance and worse nerves, approached cautiously. "You placed the shard?" Arbex asked. "Yes," the Ketheri wheezed. "Near the pit? Just like you said." "Good," Arbex said. "Now we wait. If the drones pick it up during their scans, he'll be disqualified for prohibited tech use. But what if he finds it?" "He will." Arbex smiled thinly. "Then he'll hide it. And that makes him guilty." Logan didn't hide it. He left it buried for the cameras to find. Quietly marked the soil with 3 parallel scratches, old Earth code. Planted. Observed. Contained. He had no way of knowing if anyone monitoring the feeds would understand. But maybe someone, somewhere, still remembered what integrity looked like. He pressed deeper into the jungle, studying each step. His boots, patched with bark layers and resin, moved silently. He found a stream with a deep bend and tested the current. Clean. Cold. Flowing from the north. He followed it. An hour later, he found movement, no scrambling. An insectoid figure half trapped in a thorn maze, bleeding from one arm, panting through mandibles. Not hostile. Just terrified. Logan approached without sound. The creature didn't notice him until he was 2 feet away. "Don't move," Logan said calmly. The being flinched. Its compound eyes widened. "I'm not here to hurt you. Please." It clicked. I misread the vines. Thought they were edible." "They're not," Logan said. "They contract. Blood triggers the barbs." He unsheathed a sharp bone sliver from his belt. Not a weapon, a tool. He worked through the vines quickly, slicing away the tendrils. The creature collapsed, wheezing. "You're the human?" Logan didn't reply. I saw the fire, it added. Last night. I thought, you must have smuggled something. Logan looked at him. I didn't. Then how? I remembered. The insectoid blinked. I'm Rello, it said. Logan. Rello trembled as he sat against a tree. I shouldn't be here. My species is symbiotic. We build together. This solo, hostile terrain, it's not in our biology. You want to survive? Logan asked. Rello nodded once. Then stop relying on biology. Back at camp, Logan showed Rello how to twist vine into cordage. Bend with the fibers, not against. He demonstrated how to find dry inner bark even in a wet tree. Shave with the grain. It burns faster. Rello tried. Fumbled. Logan didn't correct him harshly. Just nodded when he improved. You don't seem angry, Rello said after a while. Why would I be? You're competing. Helping me helps no one but me. Logan glanced at him. Or maybe survival doesn't always mean winning alone. That night, Logan lit fire with a bow drill. Rello watched, speechless. You're not building fire, Rello said. You're building memory. Exactly. Elsewhere, Arbex's alliance was fraying. The Dreckery strategists paced a muddy clearing surrounded by 3 species, each more annoyed than the last. We had a plan, Arbex growled. No fire, one barked. No food. And now you want us to attack? Logan is manipulating the games, Arbex spat. He's using primitive logic to sway public sympathy. A tall Yxari grunted. Or maybe he's just better. Arbex turned, eyes narrowing. Say that again. The Yxari didn't. But the silence that followed said enough. Arbex changed tactics. If none of you will help, I'll do it myself. The ambush came at dawn. Logan was ready. He'd moved camp at dusk. Dug false pit traps near his old fire ring. Hung noise alarms, simple tension lines of vine and dried reed, along the clearing perimeter. When the Dreckery attacker approached, the reed snapped with a sharp pop. Too late. His foot dropped into the pit. His chest hit the dirt. Rello jumped back in alarm. Logan stood over the trapped attacker. No anger. No weapons. Just silence. The Dreckery writhed. Logan knelt beside him and cut his pack loose. Food. Water. 2 alloy blades hidden inside fabric seams. He showed them to the hidden orbital drones watching from above. Then he placed both blades on a flat rock. Shattered them with his own. Let him go, Logan told Rello. But. He was sent. Not dangerous on his own. Rello nodded and stepped back. The attacker ran, humiliated. From a distance, Arbex watched it unfold. Not one command. Not one strike. Yet Logan controlled everything. Even the outcome. By the 6th day, the planet had gone quiet. Not the jungle, it still buzzed with life. The sky still rolled with slow thunder, and the rivers still glowed faintly beneath the moss-covered cliffs. But the competitors were nearly gone. Half had been extracted due to injury or exhaustion. A few had surrendered voluntarily, muttering that the trial was flawed, unfair, rigged in favor of the primitives. Others simply vanished, claimed by the world. The only fires still burning belonged to Logan Thorne. He crouched beneath a ridgeline as rain drizzled through the canopy, sharpening the edge of his last spearhead. Rello sat nearby, huddled inside a shell of woven bark and broad leaves, hands cupped around a steaming broth. The scent of roasted root and wild meat cut through the damp air. I didn't think I'd make it this far, Rello said softly. You adapted, Logan replied, not looking up. No, Rello said. I watched you. That's different. Logan tested the tip of the spear with his thumb. Watching is how we learn. Adapting is what you do next. Rello glanced at the fire. Why do you keep sharing your tools, your food, your tricks? You know this is still a competition. I'm not here to win a trophy. Then why? Logan stood. Wipe the blade clean. Because if we only survive for ourselves, we forget why we're alive at all. Not far from their position, Arbex Vieluin sat beneath a warped tree, shivering. His robe, once pristine, was torn at the knees and stained along the hem. His last two Alliance members had left in the night. One had taken their last ration pack. The other, a crawl beastskin, had tried to eat the synthetic lining from their boots before vanishing into the underbrush. Arbex had not eaten in 2 days. No fire. No tools. No dignity. Only pride. He still had that. Barely. By midday, the final beacon flared above the jungle, an extraction marker signifying the last location all surviving contestants must reach. A flat plateau, open and windswept, surrounded by stone. Logan arrived first. Rello trailed behind, dragging a sled made of interwoven branches and vine. He had insisted on carrying the supplies. "It's your fire," he had said. "Let me carry something." They climbed the final slope together. No sign of the others. Logan planted his spear in the ground and set the fire ring once more, this time with stone instead of bark. He wasn't just surviving now. He was demonstrating. Arbex arrived 2 hours later. Dirty. Hollow-eyed. Thinner. His steps faltered as he crossed the edge of the plateau, but he didn't fall. He wouldn't give them that. He saw Logan. Saw the fire. And for a moment, just stood there, swaying. Then his knees gave out. He collapsed without a sound. Logan rose without hesitation. He crossed the space between them, pulled Arbex upright by the arm, and guided him to the fire. No words. No judgment. Just heat. And food. Arbex didn't speak until long after sunset. He was bundled in a wrap of softened fiber, sipping broth from a shell cup. "I don't want your pity," he said hoarsely. "You don't have it. Then why save me?" "Because even you deserve the chance to learn." Arbex's jaw clenched. "You think this is a lesson?" Logan stirred the fire with a stick. Sparks rose. "I think most of you forgot what we were before machines. Before language. Before orbitals and replicators. I think you confuse progress with preparedness. And you think humans are different?" "No," Logan said. "I think we remembered." In orbit, the broadcast center was silent. Millions watched as the final feed unfolded, Logan Thorne sitting across the fire from Arbex Vieluin. No combat. No challenge. No declarations of dominance. Just survival. Shared. The council moderator leaned forward. "We've never seen this outcome." An aide nodded. "The rules allow for co-survivor victory if all active contestants reach the final beacon alive. And the others? All eliminated or evacuated. These 3 remain." The counselor exhaled. "Then it's done." A light flared on the plateau. Extraction ships descended like slow stars, lowering through the night sky on blue beams. Logan stood, helping Rello to his feet. Arbex rose on his own, barely. As the ships landed, the jungle around them stayed quiet, as if the planet, too, was watching. Inside the debriefing chamber, high above Ravalax 9, the council assembled. Logan stood in his simple survival gear, leather cords, vine wraps, and stone blades at his belt. No armor. No implants. No shame. The counselor spoke. "Logan Thorne, Earthborn, representative of a pre-digital species." "Yes. You broke no rules. Used no technology. Yet you crafted fire, tools, and shelter before most competitors located potable water." "Yes. You trained an ally. Assisted an enemy. And did not kill even when attacked." "I didn't need to." The counselor leaned forward. "What do you think the trials prove?" Logan met her eyes. "That survival isn't evolution. It's remembering what we were when nothing else helped." She nodded once. "Then you've passed." Later, as Logan boarded the outbound shuttle, Arbex approached him. Clean, bandaged, back in fresh robes. He looked uncertain. "I should have beaten you," Arbex said quietly. "You still might," Logan replied. Arbex blinked. In a world that only values conquest, Logan added, you'll always be welcome. He turned, stepped aboard the ship. As the hatch closed, Arbeck stood alone on the pad, watching the fire flicker in the wind, left behind. Back on Earth, the footage played for months. Clips of Logan building fire with bare hands, crafting traps from bent branches, teaching aliens how to boil water using hot stones and patience. No bravado. No violence. Just competence. And memory. One commentator summed it best. While the galaxy raced ahead, humanity knelt down, touched the dirt, and remembered. That's not regression. That's resilience. And now, the stars know it too.